guys, welcome to another episode of Horror Flicks and Chill with Alex Arson. Today's episode we're talking about Vampire in Brooklyn, written by first-time screenwriters Michael Lucker, Charlie Murphy, and Chris Parker, directed by the late great Wes Craven, starring Eddie Murphy, Angela Bassett, John Witherspoon, Allan Payne, Kadeem Hardison, also produced by Eddie Murphy and Mark Lipsky. Since Eddie Murphy said that he was a fan of Wes Craven because of his work with Last House on the Left, People Under the Stairs, he always wanted to do something where he was a villain and where he get to do makeup and things of that nature. So this film was just basically waiting to happen, where two greats such as Wes Craven and Eddie Murphy get to work for the first time ever.
I don't know how you know me, but everything is everything. I ain't seen nothing, okay? So you can just go ahead and jump right back through the window, man. I won't tell nobody I saw you, cause I ain't really see you. You know I'm blind. I got like contacts. I got astigmatism, man. I can't see. I'm blind. Where you at? Where you at? See, look. Where you at? Huh? Where you at?
I saw you at the docks. You're a liar, a thief, and a cheat.
No, that's my brother Miles. I'm the honest one in the family.
Well, that's unfortunate. Because that's what I liked about you.
Hey, easy, bro. Hey, now, come on. You ain't got to pull that Blackula shit with me, all right? If you're hungry, I'll run you down to KFC down the street and hit you off with a 2-piece.
I already had to tell you.
It's definitely more of a Dracula feel. You have Maximilian, played by Eddie Murphy, who's Dracula. You have Rita, who's played by Angela Bassett, who's basically Mina in this film. You have Detective Justice, who's played by Allan Payne, who's Jonathan Harker in this one, basically. You have Julius Jones, who's played by Kadeem Hardison. He's basically Renfield in this movie. You have Dr. Zako, who's basically Van Helsing. You have Nikki, who is Angela Bassett's roommate, who's Lucy. So it has all of the Dracula vampire tropes. It's just that it's set in a much more urban, community, a much more urban atmosphere, a little bit of hip hop, jazz, R&B, soul, reggae, all intertwined into the situation, which gave it a different flavor than what we were getting in the 90s as far as vampire movies are concerned.
But she in there with that toy cop.
Yes, and after I take her order, we are all going for a ride together.
That's what I'm talking about. It's about time. Let's heat it up on these motherfuckers. Go in there and rip off his head and shit down his neck. Boys, act like a vampire.
Where did you get that?
This? Oh, that's from Bloomingdale's. I kicked in the window and took it off on the little white mannequins. He stand there like this. I figure I can use it more than he can.
Oh, you're improvising.
Yeah.
It's very good. You're turning into my best ghoul ever.
Keep those fucking hands up, Sambo. Now get over there. Move it. Move your ass, all right?
Take my hand. That's all I got.
You take that fucking hand, you shove it up your ass, metal lock. What are you, a fucking magician? What, you got a dove in there? You give me your fucking wallet. All your money. Come on. Come on.
Brooklyn.
Come on.
I love this place. Jesus.
Oh, you fucking holy fat
Dumbass.
Murphy and his brother Charlie had a lot to do with this movie as far as writing and producing and creating this film. Eddie Murphy had handpicked Kadeem Hardison and Allan Payne for the movie. They originally wanted Jada Pinkett Smith for the role of Rita, but she had passed on it. Angela Bassett would eventually be cast in the role, and she already had experience in vampire movies or playing a vampire because she was in the movie Innocent Blood, which also came out in the 90s as well.
Eva is good. Oh, Eva. That's what I say. It must be. Eva must be good. Let me hear y'all say it. Eva is good. That's right.
And, when you think about it, Vampire Brooklyn is almost like Coming to America, but with vampires. It's Coming to America meets Blackula. Honestly, you have someone from another country coming to America looking for love in New York. Coming to America, it was Queens. In Vampire Brooklyn, it was obviously Brooklyn. Eddie Murphy plays multiple characters. Same formula, same format. But the difference is This movie didn't really do so well when it first came out. It was met with a lot of negative reviews, but throughout the years, it has definitely taken on a cult classic, as rightfully so. This is the first time you've ever seen Eddie Murphy as a villain. It's the first time you've ever seen him as a bad guy. This is the first time you've ever seen him die at the end. It's the first time you've ever seen him as a vampire. A lot of people have grown up to know Eddie Murphy for, Nutty Professor and Norbit and Haunted Mansion and things like that. But Vampire in Brooklyn was the first time you really got, and this is before Blade. This is before Blade. This is the first time I really saw black vampires and ever saw a black vampire movie quite like this, honestly. And I know there's, Vamp that came out before this, with Grace Jones. We'll talk about that later. But as far as I'm concerned, growing up, being an Eddie Murphy fan, this is the movie that showed me that you can do a vampire movie, you can do a Dracula type of movie, and you can mix horror and comedy in a way that actually works. It has almost everything in there. There's humor, there's gore, there's great music, there's great special effects, great cinematography, great performances all around. You're gonna laugh, you're gonna have a good time. You have to check this one out. You've never seen Eddie Murphy like this before, ever, or since. You've never seen him before or after this. You've never seen him do this before. This is definitely a once in a lifetime thing. I don't think we'll ever see him return to horror like this. And I don't think we'll ever see him as a villain ever again, quite like this. This is definitely something that he wanted to try his hand in, something he wanted to, put his foot in and see how it was. And it didn't really work out at first, but people have come around to it. But you have to see it and appreciate it for the attempt at what it was to do something different. For Eddie Murphy to step out and try something a little bit darker, a little bit more gritty, a little bit more gory, and a little bit more violent. But at the same time, too, he's still Eddie Murphy. So he's still playing different characters and he's still making you laugh. But at the same time, too, he's playing a very good, suave, debonair, charming, romantic vampire that you would usually get out of Dracula or any other vampire who's trying to get his long-lost love or whoever he's in love with at the time. It's definitely giving you vampire lore and vampire cliches and Dracula cliches and definitely giving you a vampire movie, but with a lot of humor. We've had these things before, but it's just something a little bit different with Eddie Murphy being in the driver's seat of it all, because it's definitely something that's a little against type, a little bit against character for him. And so it's worth a try, it's worth checking it out, it's worth giving it a chance. It's definitely worth watching.